Welcome to Biohacking Explained. Today, we're going to break down Brian Johnson's longevity diet. Brian Johnson is spending over $2 million a year trying to reverse his aging, and he's utilizing spreadsheets, some weird sludge, and over 100 supplements. But here's the big question. Is his diet actually optimal, or is it optimal on paper? Today, I'm going to break down his eating protocol and critique it. And this is from the perspective of a person that cannot spend $2 million a year, but is trying to live longer and have a healthy lifestyle. So if you're trying to optimize your health, but you don't have $2 million a year to spend, hit that like and subscribe button. Brian eats a hyper-controlled, mostly plant-based diet. He eats vegetables, lentils, olive oils, nut butters, and this green slush that he drinks every single morning. At first, he started with a caloric restriction diet, and recently he has switched it up to being in a maintenance caloric diet, which I totally agree with. Something that I do not agree with is that he avoids red meat, dairy, and sugars at all costs. And he stacks supplements like he's building a pharmacy in his kitchen. So let's get to it. Let's see what's under the surface of his diet. Compared to Brian, I choose to eat nutrient-dense foods. In my diet, I include red meat, raw dairy, raw honey, liver, and all kinds of fruits. My food is not only a calorie source, but it is where I get all of my nutrients from. Brian gets beta carotene from plants. This is not the same as retinol. Retinol is the active form that your body utilizes, and you get retinol from liver, egg yolk, and raw dairy. Choline and creatine are critical for brain health, mood, and physical performance. And guess what? It's available abundantly in red meat, egg yolk, and liver as well, and is barely present in plants. B12 and heme iron are only present in animal foods, essential for energy, focus, and oxygen delivery. Calcium and vitamin K2. You have to ask yourself how bioavailable these compounds are in plants. It's been proven that these compounds are bioavailable in dairy and liver, but in plants, they're poorly absorbed. Let's talk about non-heme iron versus heme iron. Plant iron has been shown that it's poorly absorbed by the body, while red meat, on the other hand, gives you heme iron, which is easily absorbed. Another thing that needs to be pointed out is that beta-carotene conversion to retinol is weak unless you're metabolically healthy. If you're thinking that leafy greens are a good source of calcium, you got to think again. Spinach and chard contain oxalates that bind calcium, while raw milk provides the cleanest form of calcium there is. The zinc that you think you're getting from grains and beans is being blocked by phytates. So the bioavailability is very poor in grains and beans of zinc. And this takes everything out of proportion in regards of copper and boron. Red meat and shellfish are far superior sources of zinc. ALA versus EPA and DHA. Plants give out ALA. It's well known that plants give out ALA, but your body needs DHA and EPA. The conversion rate is really low in plants. So yeah, for a guy that's spending $2 million a year and has over 100 supplements aside from his diet, it might work, but for the average human being, his diet is not going to work very well. Remember, we do not have over 100 doctors behind the scenes looking at our health markers every day. Brian takes over 100 pills every single day. If your food cannot provide the nutrient sources that your body needs, then you can't call it optimal. Real foods need to have nutrient synergy. Supplements equate to isolated compounds. You will not be able to replicate the bioavailable nutrients in dairy and liver in a couple capsules. Keep in mind that I am all for biohacking and trying to have a healthy lifestyle, but I am for targeted biohacking. I'm all for enhancing a strong foundation and not replacing it. The last point that I would like to end with is that lectins are a defense mechanism that grains, beans, and plants have, and it attack your gut biome. Most of the foods that Brian eats are heavily infested with lectins. They can tear up your gut lining, impair absorption, and trigger inflammation. Keep in mind that our ancestors fermented and sprouted these foods first, and modern diets skip that step totally. Your gut biome is your interface with the world. If you damage it, everything else suffers in your body. I totally respect Brian's discipline, but you do not need $2 million to feel amazing. What you need is food that your DNA recognizes. Remember guys, I'm not against science. I use peptides myself, but I build everything on top of a strong foundation. Red meat, raw dairy, raw honey, and fruits. And don't forget the liver. If you're done chasing lab-made nutrition and you want to get back to what really works, hit the like button, subscribe, and comment below what your next meal is going to be. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.